Do you have a sense of the trajectory of history? How do you feel at this moment in time in 2014? Where the hell are we going? Do you have a sense of that?
Well, first of all, I don't think that history has a predetermined trajectory. I don't think that it is really self-organizing. I think that to some extent the so-called great man theory of history is correct, but it only goes so far. I think it's the times that create the great leaders rather than great leaders creating the times. And so I really have trouble with simplistic explanations of history. Right now, of course, there is a battle going on over Steven Pinker's assertion that the world has become less violent in the last couple of hundred years, and there are actually fewer wars and less violence. And his detractors make, I think, an equally convincing argument that that is not so, that when you look at the past 100 years, more civilians have been killed in wars than soldiers, than combatants have been killed in wars. And that certainly is true in the last couple of wars that we have been privy to. So I think that history just keeps on going. It's multi-causal, and I think that if I were to identify something where there is some sort of progress, it would be science and technology, which has its shadow side, of course. But I think we are finding out more about nature, and we're finding out more about how to create the tools to give people a better lifestyle. Now what we need to do is to create the ambiance to implement that.
Do you think, haven't we had the tools to give people a better lifestyle for a long time? I mean, we've had surplus food for decades, right? I mean,
yes.
since after World War II and mechanized farming and all that stuff. And yet people are still starving to death. And I guess I'm curious about the shadow side of technology, because I feel like, yes, there is progress, and I'm doing the air quotes with the progress, because we're still the same organism. We're still the same ignorant monkey, and we just have stronger and stronger tools. You know, it's like giving kids firecrackers and then pistols and then machine guns and then bombs, but they're still kids. So I kind of feel like the more technological progress there is, the greater the chasm between our moral development and capacities and the power of the technology. So the technological development, in the end, from this perspective, is actually a negative, because we're capable of doing more and more damage.
Not only are we capable of doing more and more damage against ourselves, we're doing more and more damage against nature.
Right.
And I think that it's the destruction of the natural environment that will do us in more efficiently than warfare and human versus human.